Welcome to another episode of the Gentsmen podcast where I'm a realist. What the fuck are you? I'm Ray. I'm your host. And this is episode 7. Is marriage just a form of validation? That's the title. That's what we're talking about. I hope you've had a great week. I've had a great week. At the end of the episode, we're going to talk about some updates, why I seem a little inconsistent, and all of that and what's to come. But diving right into it, today we talking about. I'm gonna talk about, is marriage just a form of validation? You probably like, what does that mean, right? To me, in today's time, it seems like people are just using marriage as a way to validate them, right? Excuse me. For instance, people will plan out their life, right? They'll say, one day I'm gonna get married and I'm gonna have, oh my bad, and I'm gonna have X amount of kids, right? They say that they'll be like, I'm gonna get married one day, I'm gonna have X amount of kids, and blah blah blah, wumpty wumpty, right? All right. And what in that equation, right? In that equation, where was love? Did anybody say anything about love? Did they say one day I'm gonna find the person that's gonna love me more than anything? And they're gonna put up with all my boo, right? And then we're gonna have some kids together and we're gonna raise them. And oh my gosh, it's gonna be like a lifetime movie, right? Did they say that? No. But some people be like, well, I mean, obviously that's what they meant. They said they're gonna get married one day. But no, no, I don't feel like that's in our mind as much as it should be, right? Because technically people be like, well, are you married? Do you have someone? Because relationship kind of is in the equation of, is it a form of validation? But I say marriage because marriage is harder to get out of, and a lot of people look to get married. Obviously, But getting back to what I was saying though, so it's like, if you're not married and you're not in a relationship, it's like you failed. And if you're in a relationship and you're not married and you're like 40 or 50 something, then they'd be like, oh, well, they failed that life. They must be a horrible person. They must blah, blah, blah this and blah, blah that and blah, blah. Like, it's like, if you're not married, it's like you must suck at life because nobody wants to be with you, right? So that's why I say, is it a form of validation? Because it doesn't, being that, like I said, when people plan out their life and they talk about marriage and they talk about they're gonna get married one day, and I said love wasn't in the equation, people say, well, you gotta speak things into an existence, right? So if you're just speaking marriage into this, I'm gonna get married one day, I'm gonna get married one day, I'm gonna have kids one day. Yeah, a lot of y'all have got married, and a lot of y'all are looking for a divorce because you ain't speak love into it. You didn't speak love into existence. You just spoke about getting married, and a lot of people are getting married, but are they in love? Are they actually with the person that they want to be with? The person that they might have messed over, let slide, or not even that. Maybe they didn't mess up. Maybe, I don't know. Whatever else could have went wrong in that situation. But a lot of us aren't in love and married. We're just married. Now the ones that are, hey, congratulations. Hey, power to you. You found a good thing. But a lot of us just, it's like marriage is just validating who you are. Because if you're not married, then you're a horrible person. It's like people need that, hey, look, I'm a good person. I'm a good person because guess what? I got somebody who wants to spend the rest of their life with me. Ain't I a great person? Ain't I just so amazing that I have someone who has just married me, right? And that line of thinking is what's wrong with today. I think that line of thinking of marriage just being a form of validation, and we're not really looking for love. It's just like, everybody feels, and I think it's kind of like widely preached that you have to get, well, you don't have to. You should find somebody. Like life, a lot of people preach that life is about finding someone to settle down with and spending the rest of your life with. And that's cool. And maybe that's how it's supposed to be, right? All right, maybe it is. I'm saying it's supposed to be like that in a way, right? But at what point do we put love in the equation to actually talk about it? Like, it's not just about finding somebody who's willing to put up with your flaws. It's about finding love, someone that you have chemistry with, somebody that you really care about, somebody that when you're with them, you don't look at nobody else. Temptation is there, but it doesn't bother you. A lot of people are falling for temptation because they're not really with the person that they're in love with. They might love them, but it's probably really more of like a strong like. You don't love them, you just strongly like them. And you're probably obsessed with them, so it feels like love, but it's really not. It's probably some toxic stuff. Cause being obsessive is a little toxic, just being honest. So when you factor those things in, you'll see where I'm coming from. That is it just a form of validation in today's time in a lot of people's mind. It's not supposed to be, but unconsciously, maybe unintentionally, for a lot of people, it's just a form of validation. Like for instance, I have, you know, female friends, right? And it's like the older they get, the more they start kind of rushing, like, oh my gosh, I'm about to turn 30 in like 2 years. I need to hurry up and get married. Oh, I gotta find love. I was expecting to be to be married by now. Is something wrong with me? Oh my gosh. You know what I'm saying? It's like my people just like start going into this whole frenzy. Like when they get up there in age, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm not getting married yet. I'm about to hit 30. You know what I'm saying? It's like that's not how it's supposed to be. You know, it's like, cause like I said, they're saying married. I'm not married yet. I'm not married yet. Oh, I can't speak on that because I'm not married. Or how you gonna speak on another person's life and you nobody even wants you? You know what I'm saying? Like it's to me it validates that you're a good person. It validates your existence, and people aren't throwing love into the equation as much because you shouldn't be. Oh my gosh, I haven't got married yet. I'd be like, dang, I'm not in love. Nobody. I'm like, not nobody loves me. Dang, it's taking me this long to find the one to find chemistry with, the one I could just daydream about. Excuse me. But even though, if it's about love and really finding love, you'll be patient. When it comes, it comes. And those people that truly be in a mind state of in between, like I'm not looking, but if it stumbles upon me, that's great. That's amazing. That's how it's supposed to be. You're not supposed to be out there searching for it. It kind of stumbles upon you. When it stumbles upon you, it's a great thing. It just catches you out of nowhere. And then you find yourself doing what? Falling in love. You can't fall in love if you chasing somebody. You're just gonna fall on your face and be single. But anyways, so that's what I think. I think like if we take the validation part of it and stop thinking that if I'm not married or I'm not in a relationship, that that person's a horrible person or I'm a horrible person or whatever. If we take that out of it and just talk about like love and being in love and stop saying I'm gonna get married one day. I'm gonna no actually say I'm gonna fall in love with one day with somebody who really appreciates me and talk about love more instead of just the aspect of just marriage. Like marriage is a part of it, but it's really about love. Two people can be married and not be in love. Two people can get married and only like each other. So I think when you just say the word marriage, it's just a form of validation. But when you talk about I'm gonna be in love one day, and out of that love we're gonna produce kids, that's beautiful. That's how we're supposed to be thinking. But like I said, when we be seeing these relationship, these celebrity relationships, we'd be like relationship goals. But some of that's kind of fake. But we shouldn't even be thinking like that. We should just be thinking love, finding, getting in love, falling in love with ourselves, but not to the point where we're obsessed with ourselves, where we have that self love. So we really can see when you have, I feel like if you have self love, then you can see if somebody really loves you because you'll love yourself. Because a lot of people are just getting that I like you a lot attention and they think it's love because they don't love themselves. So it makes them feel good because they don't feel good about themselves. And this other person saying these things are helping validate some of the insecurities that they haven't solved yet on the inside. But moving on to the next thing. This week on Foolish Olympics, we have one Olympian, right? They get the gold, they get the silver, and they get the bronze medal. All right. And who am I talking about? I'm talking about, I was really going to say a specific person, but no. I'm going to say people with this mindset. The people who get the Foolish Olympics gold, silver, and bronze medal this week is people who think only their gender can talk about their gender, right? So what do I mean? Matter of fact, let me go back a little bit. Also, with with m- being validated through marriage, a lot of people go through a lot of therapy just so they can say they got somebody, just so they can get in a relationship. They're not going through therapy to fix themselves up to be the best version of them to love themselves. They're just like, I'm finna go through all this therapy. That way, somebody will want me. You see what I'm saying? Like that type of thinking is just crazy. But going back to that, people who think that only their gender could talk about their gender is an issue. Who thinks like that? That's some foolish stuff. Like in my last podcast, I talked about old soul, weak man, right? Possibly, and I was talking about what I think. Well, not what I think, what I see. You know what I'm saying? I'm not thinking this. I've seen it. I've seen it in other people's relationships. I've seen where it went wrong, and I said what I have come up with, what women want. And it's like, it's cool to disagree with that. I got some disagreements, and it's understandable. It's all about sparking conversation. That's what all this is about. Just making you think, going home or calling your friend or whatever, and all y'all have this conversation. That's what it's about. But there was like, here we go, men speaking on what women want. And I understand that it's a long history, especially like with the abortion thing, like men telling women what to do with their body. You know, I understand that. But in in that I wasn't even bashing women. And a lot of women agree. More so than who disagree. So I was on to something. So my thing is, when you say stuff like that, you gotta be kind of ignorant, you know? Like you have ignorant thoughts. Not saying that you're just completely stupid or foolish, but that's a form of ignorance that only we can talk about us. That's like me saying only men could talk about what men do. And there's a lot of men that go out there just bashing men on what they do. And it seemed like they might have had some father issues and they mad at their father for how they did their mother, so they take that out on other men. But, you know, it's none of my business. But I think that's just ignorant. When when you only have that men only talk about men, women only talk about women, it doesn't bridge the gap on other angles that could possibly be out there for us to actually talk, for us to actually come together and be like, okay, okay, I see where you coming from with that. All right, bet. Well, here's the flip side of it. Of, you know what I'm saying? Like when I said what I said, that I feel like women don't like men to talk about their emotions as much. Like just overly talk about it, like overly every day, just watering down what their words mean. And that they would rather have that in actions than in words. If you be like, nah, we will, this is how we blah, 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 or this is how I blah, blah, blah. Because every woman is different. But I've noticed Like one female is like, that's how it is at first. And then once I get to know you and we've been together for a while, then it's not much as much of a turnoff. You know what I'm saying? And that may or may not be true. I mean, that person is in a relationship, but I don't know how long they were. But that's great advice because I do see that a lot of those guys that are overly in their feelings and overly talk about their emotions and blah blah blah, you know what they get? They either get friend zoned or they get blocked. And I just seen somebody block one of them type of dudes. So it's just like I'm trying to just put that out there, right? Even if it would have got a negative response, I wouldn't care. It's kind of like a social experiment. It's like, let me say this. Let's see what type of response we get. But if I didn't say it, and I promoted that on Instagram, so I put a little money behind it. Only to women, just to see what women think. Now I can be like, whenever I talk to dudes or they ask me for advice, I could be like, well, look, hey, 60% of the females said blah, blah, blah. Like, you know what I'm saying? Putting some numbers behind. But when you just say, oh, only women can say what a woman want, that's like me saying only a man can say what I want. And a lot of y'all be out here, hey, men only want pussy, blah, 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 blah. It's healthy conversations is what it's all about. It's all about bridging the gap. You know, we got to talk about what women do in order for women to see the wrong things that they do or the right things that they do. And vice versa. Women need to speak on men because we need to see what we doing wrong and how it's affecting them or, you know, how things that they do might turn a guy off, and it might make a dude be like, dang, I ain't even noticed that. Because what I said, a lot of it was just subconscious. And when I got to talking to, women about it and all the women that gave me healthy conversation about it, shout out to you. I appreciate all of you. You know, when it just when you start talking about it, it makes you be like, dang, I ain't even see that. That was just a subconscious thing. Like subconsciously, I just didn't want them no more. It wasn't a purposely thing. It's just subconsciously. So a lot of things that are subconscious when other genders getting talk when men get to talk about women and women get to talk about men, it helps us notice the things that we're doing that we might have noticed, but obviously it's happening to you. So you notice it. And that's what it's all about. Also, moving to the updates. All right. This podcast will become a live stream podcast within the next couple weeks. And I will be live streaming to YouTube and Facebook. It might be one or the other to start off, but after a couple weeks, I'm gonna get it worked out to where it's gonna be going to both of them. Instagram has their own little setup and the way that it's made can't nobody's really brought able to go live without going live directly on Instagram. But for sure, I could live stream to Facebook, YouTube, and Periscope all at the same time. So be on the lookout for that. I'm gonna let y'all know what the schedule is gonna be. For right now, y'all be getting audio Monday night and probably get the podcast videos like Wednesday. But once I start live streaming, it's probably gonna be on Sunday. Um, I'm gonna try to get the best time to go live with you guys, from y'all, see what y'all schedule looking like. But for the most part, I work Monday through Saturday, so Sunday is my free day. So Sunday would be when I'll be able to live stream, unless I just go live just to kick the shit with y'all. But that's the update. Other than that, the reason why it's been inconsistent in a way is I just now this past weekend fully moved to Texas. I got my bed, I got everything that I need to get some good sleep. I've been sleeping on the air mattress for like 5 months. Back was killing me. But I've relocated from Mississippi to Fort Worth, Texas. So walk in your truck, take over your truck, because I'm about to have my shit jumping in Texas. But other than that, that's really about the updates. That's why I've been inconsistent. And that's the the form of how the podcast will be going in the future. It will be live stream. That way, since it's only me now, it's a single man podcast. For the people who've seen podcasts before, it was just me. Now we can interact, we can laugh, we can talk. I may get a way for people to phone in and talk. So just be on the lookout on that. I'm definitely gonna be interacting with you guys more and more. So don't so feel free to interact back and feel free to message me. I'm not stuck up. I might be light skinned, but I don't have light skinned tendencies. You feel me? So I appreciate all y'all for tuning in. I'm a realist with the